I went from being fluffy and insecure to skinny and insecure to lean, strong, and a whole lot more confident. And to go from there to where I am now, I changed 3 main habits. Now, just to be clear, this is not another one of those videos you see everywhere where they tell you to wake up at 5 a.m., drink green juice, take a cold shower, and do yoga. Those are not life-changing habits. Well, maybe for some. What I am going to share with you though can actually transform your life. At least it transformed my life, from how I look, feel, to even the things I've accomplished. I'll give you specific examples. And if you do what I share in this video, I truly believe your life will change for the better. Though the catch is you have to be willing to do all 3 habits. In case you don't know me, I'm Ingunn, a Norwegian Viking and researcher sharing science-based, no BS tips and truth about losing weight naturally and effectively without suffering in the process. And today we're getting a bit more personal. First though, make sure you're subscribed and click that bell button. Now the first habit is the most practical and easiest one of them all. So if you're not up for this one, you'll find at least habit number 3 basically impossible. Just warning you. Habit number 1, I started cooking my own food from scratch. And I'm not talking about fancy recipes here, I'm not talking about spending hours in the kitchen, not at all. And I'll show you some of my meals shortly, just stick with me, because the actual food is just as important as cooking it yourself. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that your diet is the single most important thing when it comes to weight loss. You can forget about working out. In fact, I lost all the excess fat without exercising. It's really not necessary to exercise in order to lose weight. And if you want to lose weight and change your life for the better, you need to focus on what's important. You don't need 10 new weight loss habits. You need to focus on what actually works. I'm all for exercising, by the way. It can have amazing benefits. Though when it comes to weight loss specifically, you won't get anywhere unless you nail down your diet. You don't need to count calories. You just need to nail down your diet and your satiety will take care of the rest. That's right. Now, while I was at my fluffiest, I didn't cook any food myself. Though, note that I also lost a lot of that weight without cooking my own food. So I'm not saying it's not possible to lose weight if you can't cook your own food. You just have to be very aware of what you're eating. However, if you want to not just lose some weight, but transform your life and take charge of your own health, you'll want to cook your own food. And you'll want to cook it from scratch. And like I said, it doesn't need to be fancy and it doesn't need to take a lot of time. The important thing is that you start off with the right ingredients. What I call real protein, real fat, and real carbs. Simple, single ingredient real foods that are minimally processed, nutritious, low in anti-nutrients, and highly digestible. That's the basis of the diet. And you don't need to follow fancy recipes here. Simply choose the real foods that you enjoy the most, cook them the way you like them, and maybe add some spices, and then simply enjoy. Using a pressure cooker is amazing because it saves both time and effort, and it comes out so nice and juicy and tender. Though for a while now I've been a bit of a nomad and I have been without my pressure cooker. So instead, I've been boiling my real carbs ahead of time and storing them in the fridge so that I can simply reheat them for each meal. Super simple and saves a lot of time. Of course, if you're looking to lose weight, you'll want to adapt the diet so that you may specifically optimize for satiety and fat burning. And yes, the specific foods you choose to eat can have a huge impact on your metabolism and how many calories you burn. And that's one of the reasons cooking your own food is the very best thing you can do. Because you can choose to, for example, avoid vegetable oils made from seeds that may alter your fat metabolism and even accumulate in your body fat. And you can choose the most satiating foods so you don't need to count calories or stop eating while you're still hungry. You can be in control. And I know that can be scary to some people, though really it's much better to be in control and maybe learn and adjust the diet along the way than to let your own health be in the hands of those that prepare the food that's made specifically to be profitable, meaning cheap to prepare using ingredients that are less than optimal, like for instance vegetable oil, which you'll find everywhere, and that's also made to not make you satiated or to even make you feel addicted to the food so that you want to keep eating more and more. There's so much to say about how to optimize your diet specifically for weight loss, though I do want to show you habits 2 and 3. So if you want to know how you may lose weight while eating to satiety, check out this video, which I will link to below. And if you want to know more about how you may increase fat burning even without exercising, check out this video with 5 science-based practical tips on how you may burn more fat without exercising. I'll put the link below for you. I also have everything you need ready for you with step-by-step instructions in my 90-day weight loss program called Slim by Science, which you'll also find a link to below this video. Now, habit number 2 is more of a belief that changed. Again, if you were looking for another video telling you to take a cold shower or drink green juice, you've come to the wrong place. I'm talking about things that can truly change your life. At least that's what it did for me. And you can't truly change your life unless you work on your mind and become more self-aware of what's holding you back, including your beliefs. And if that makes you uncomfortable, you're on the right path. What I'm about to share is quite personal actually, and it was a pretty deep-rooted belief, spanning more than what I'm about to share with you, though let's keep it simple. Here's the thing. I used to think that people who exercise regularly and go to the gym are a certain type of people. It's those that are obsessed with their looks in a very superficial way, and not exactly the intellectual types either. And I personally did not identify with those people. I wasn't that type of person, and I didn't want to become that type of person. So subconsciously, I just thought that exercising wasn't really for me. I also used to think that people who eat healthy are people who love eating salads, eat very little, and are also obsessed about how they look in a superficial way. And again, I did not identify with those type of people, and I didn't want to become one of those people either. So subconsciously, I just thought that eating healthy and just caring a lot about what I eat wasn't really for me. Listen, as humans, we love to put people and behaviors into boxes. It's a natural thing. It's a way for us to make sense of a very complex world. But the truth is, exercising is not reserved for those gym-loving, superficial people. And eating healthy is not reserved for salad-loving, superficial people. Eating healthy doesn't even need to look anything like what we usually see. The point is, you don't need to fit into a certain box or become a certain type of person in order to want to take care of yourself and your health. Oh my god, this sounds so cliche, but it's true. And that's really what it's all about. Taking care of yourself, taking control of your life and your health. And you can't want to be healthy without walking around in a gym outfit 24/7, posing for selfies and drinking green juice. Once I realized this, that doing everything I can to be healthy doesn't make me into a certain type of person, or that I don't need to become a certain type of person in order to be healthy, that's when things really started to change for the better. Because I basically gave myself permission to pursue health without feeling like I was giving up who I was as a person. Rather, I was improving myself. Okay, what I just shared is quite personal, and I don't know if you can relate at all. I'll tell you more about my transformation now, though I'd really like to hear from you about your experience. If you can relate at all, or maybe you have had other beliefs that have held you back in life at some point. Let me know in the comments. I think we'd all love to hear. Or if you just want to show your support, click a thumbs up and leave a heart in the comments. And before I share more about my journey, I do have lots of weight loss tips on my channel, including practical science-based tips, so make sure you're subscribed and click that bell button. And you may also find me on Instagram at VikingIngun. Now let me tell you a bit more about my journey and what has changed before we get into habit number 3, which is probably the one most people are not willing to do. Or maybe they think they're already doing it, though in reality, they're not. Now, back when I was fluffy, I was very insecure and I had very low self-esteem. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't really identify with the person in the mirror. It was like I wasn't really looking at myself. My face was all puffy, and even though I didn't want to admit it, I cared way too much about what other people thought about me. Now, I managed to lean down and I became quite skinny at some point, though I still didn't feel great and I was still very insecure. So, to get from being skinny and still very insecure to being lean, strong, and way more confident, one more thing had to change. And that's where habit number 3 comes in. I have made it a habit to be open-minded and willing to try almost anything, even if it scares me or makes me uncomfortable. If you master this, it can be truly life-changing. It's like an overarching habit that impacts the way you live your life. And like I said, some people will simply not be willing to do this, while others may think they are already doing this, though in reality, they're not. Or they are maybe in some areas of their lives, but not the rest. Now, just to be clear, I do still have insecurities, and I'm not the most confident person on the earth, though the difference between what I was before and what I am now is huge. So let me give you some specific examples of how this has changed my life, and hopefully you can find some inspiration in that. I went from being an extremely picky eater to loving food I never would have tried in the past and being open to trying pretty much anything, which also allowed me to try different weight loss and diet methods based on science and common sense to find what actually works. I went from not working out at all to thinking I was working out in the gym to doing things like this. And note that I never did sports growing up. I've never been an athletic person. I went from almost never trying something new because I was scared I would fail and afraid of how it would make me look, to wanting to try new things and believing I can actually do it. The latest new thing I tried was windsurfing, which was so much fun. I went from doing a master's in physics and mathematics and having a well-paid, respectable job as an engineer and project manager to quitting my job in Norway and moving to Canada without a job to go to and completely changing my career and life forever, which is what has really allowed me to dive deep into nutrition and weight loss science over the years. I could give you endless examples of how this habit has changed my life. And yes, all those things were possible only because I had made it a habit of facing everything in life with an open mind and willingness to try almost anything, even if it scared me or made me uncomfortable. And believe me, none of those things happened overnight. And I've been extremely uncomfortable along the way, though I wouldn't change it for the world because it's what has made me the person I am today. I wasn't kidding when I said that these 3 habits transformed my life, and they've all been critical in getting me to where I am today. Now, especially this last one takes a bit of time to get a hang of, and it will always be a kind of work in progress. However, I want to stress how important the first habit is, or really how important what you eat is, the actual food. When it comes to your weight, how you look, how you feel, anything from your digestion, your mood, energy, it's all connected to the specific foods you eat. Now, I've spent years researching the science of nutrition and weight loss because I find it incredibly fascinating. And I've helped people around the world. So if you'd like a shortcut instead of trying it all yourself, you'll find everything you need step by step within my 90-day weight loss program called Slim by Science, which is designed for you to lose weight naturally while eating to satiety. That means no more counting calories or starving yourself or even enduring exhaustive exercises. Actually, you don't need to exercise at all. Now, I only work with a certain number of women at a time, so there are limited spots available, though right now, everyone who joins gets my personal WhatsApp so that you can ask me anything and even send me pictures of your meals and I'll give you personal feedback. You'll find more information about the program at slimbyscience.com, and I hope to see you in there. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. And by the way, these are the 2 videos I mentioned earlier that you'll want to check out next.